What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi with a brand new deck profile video. Today I'll be going back and taking a look at my improved Fire deck. This deck has always been a Fire King, Fire Fist combo with the Coach tech engine, and it's seen some play changes recently. I've actually gone back and made it similar to how it used to be. So let's see where this goes. Starting with the minimal monster lineup, we have triple Fire Fist Boar and triple Fire Fist Caribou. While it's face up on the field, if you were to summon a Fire Fist monster from the extra deck, you get to set a Fire Formation spell directly from the deck, which is useful, and it can only be used for Fire Synchros, which is fine, that's all I run. And if it gets destroyed in battle, you can pull a different Fire Fist monster straight from the deck to the field, which would, in this instance, be Caribou. Caribou says if it's destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, then during the end phase, you get to pull a different Fire Fist monster straight from the deck, which would be Boar. In addition, if it's used as a synchro material for a Fire Fist monster, you set a Fire Formation spell directly from the deck. This deck has a lot of power drawn from its spell cards, obviously, so that's going to be a bit higher than normal. Coast Soldier Wolfbark is a good addition to this deck because the low monsters are all Beast Warriors. You can target a level 4 Fire Beast Warrior in your grave and special summon it in defense with its effects negated. It's mainly just used to get into the not Fire Fist synchros, and pretty much any rank 4 XCs that I want. Now the Fire King engine is minimal as well. Fire King Avatar Barong is the one that you summon the most. If it's destroyed by card effect, you get to search a Fire King card straight from your deck to your hand during the next standby phase. Not yours, the next standby phase. And if a face-up Fire King monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, except during the damage step obviously, then you can special summon one of them from your hand. Fire King High Avatar Garunix, though. This is the one that people remember the most from this deck, being the most annoying monster in existence. And I have to agree. During the next standby phase, after it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to the grave, you get to special summon it from the graveyard, and when you do, Dark Hole everything except itself. But if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can special summon a Fire King monster from your deck except himself, so your target would more often than not be Barong. Then we move into the spell lineup, which like I said, is actually fairly large. Double Circle of the Fire Kings. I debated on this card between 2 and 3, but 2 works much more fluidly for the sake of the Fire Formation engine that's honestly a lot more needed. It's a quick play spell, so it's useful during either turn, where you can target a fire monster you control and a fire monster in the graveyard, destroy the first target and special the second from the graveyard. Double Fire Formation YuGiOh. This card lets you block a set spell trap, and like all the other Fire Formation spell traps, they give additional attack points. The spells give 100 extra attack points, as long as they're face up on the field. Tenki is your main card. When it's activated, and when it resolves, you get to search any Beast Warrior from your deck to your hand, level 4 or lower. This sets off so many combos and plays, I don't even know where to start. Tensu, on the other hand, gives you an additional normal summon of a Beast Warrior type monster, in addition to your normal summoner set, but you can only gain this effect once per turn. Fire King Island. Given that the engine in this is so small, you really wouldn't expect to use this card at all, but frankly, it sets off a lot of your deck plays. If it leaves the field, you destroy all monsters you control, which is a bit of a negative effect, but given that the Fire Kings and the Fire Fists selectively that I run, some of them do gain bonuses from being destroyed by card effect, this is fine. And you get to activate one of 2 effects once per turn, and this is a hard once per turn. During your main phase, you can either destroy a monster in your hand or on your side of the field to search a Fire King monster from your deck to your hand, or if you control no monsters, you can special summon a Fire Winged Beast type monster from your hand. So either way, you either get a big monster summon, or the destruction of a card and a search. Double MST, I know I run 2 YuGiOh, but MST is just, I still think it's necessary in this deck. Triple Onslaught of the Fire Kings. This spell does the most work in my personal opinion, because it pulls any monster that I run in the main deck straight to the field, with its effects negated and it's destroyed during the end phase, but I can set off so many combos with that, it's not even funny. And the single Rekindling. Right now the only target for this deck, obviously, that this card would even pull, would be the Fire Fist Barong, or Fire King Barong, rather. Hard to keep track. But the thing is, that's fine. I've been able to use this card multiple occasions, even with a minimal number of targets. And then we move into the trap lineup, starting with Bottomless Trap Hole, staple in all of my decks. Double Fire Formation Tensen. I've had a hard time choosing which one of the traps I wanted to run in this deck, but Tensen seems to have the most utility. Unlike the Fire Formation spell cards, which only give 100 attack points, these things give 300 attack points as long as they're face up. And Tensen's one-shot effect is that you can target a Beast Warrior control and give it 700 attack points until the end of the turn, which is honestly really useful during those damage step plays. Triple Jar of Avarice. I burn through a lot of cards in this deck, and I run out of monsters faster than anything I could possibly imagine. And I do have ways of returning the Fire Fist cards, but not the Fire King cards or other utility spell traps that I may need, so this card is useful at 3. And then the single Solemn Warning, stable in pretty much everyone's deck. Next we move into the side deck, which is fairly standardized with a couple of special diversities. 2 Fire King Leopards. It lets you tribute a Fire Fist monster you control to set a Fire Formation spell trap directly from the deck. You can only use its effect once per turn, but sometimes that's all you really need. Bonfire Colossus. I've tacked around with this card as a useful card for a while, and it does have some playability. Its synergy is questionably good, because if you control a fire monster, you can special summon it from your hand, and when it's special summoned, regardless of how, you target 2 fire monsters you control and destroy them. The third circle of the Fire Kings is here as well as the Double Dark Hole, the third MST, Blazing Mirror Force over regular Mirror Force. It still destroys the opponent's attack position monsters, but then both people take damage equal to half the original attack of the monsters destroyed. Single Compulsory, Double Fiendish Chain, Double Memory Loss, Torrential, and Vanities. And then we finish up with the minimal extra deck, starting with the Synchro monster Fire Fist Kirin. He reduces your opponent's monster's attack points by 100 for each face-up spell trap you control, which really is not the reason I use him. The main reason I use him is because of the fact that he sets a Fire Formation spell trap from deck. And if you use him in tandem with Caribou with your Synchro plays, you get to set 2 straight from deck, which makes up the difference for the cards you lost performing the Synchro. Crimson Blader, on the other hand, is just a fun monster to summon. If it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the grave, your opponent can't normal special summon level 5 or higher monsters during their turn. That actually stalls a lot of people out. Now, as I mentioned before, I have plenty of ways of returning certain cards back to the deck of the Fire Fist variety and the Fire Formation variety, and the one that does that is actually Cardinal. Double Detach to target 2 cards in your grave or on your field, and 2 cards in your opponent's grave or on their field, and return them all to the deck. The cards you target have to be Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards, and you can only use its effect once per turn, but that's fine. Now the triple Tiger King, on the other hand, is always fun and very easy to play in this deck. Second it's summoned, you pull a Fire Formation spell trap straight from the deck. Once per turn you can detach a material to negate everything that's not a Beast Warrior on the field. And if it gets destroyed while you control 3 Fire Formation spell traps, you can send all 3 of them to the grave and summon 2 new monsters from your deck with the same attack in defense mode. I'm still running the single Crooked Cook. Its effects are moderately good. The thing is, I don't use it anywhere near as much as I thought I would. I mean, if you control no other cards on the field while he's out, he's unaffected by other card effects, which is awesome. During either player's turn, you can detach a material to destroy as many other cards you control, and then this card gains 300 attack for each, and he only gains this attack point bonus until the end of the turn. At most, you would have a surprise 3,500 attack point monster who's impervious to card effects. Which is... it sounds good on paper, I'm sure, but it's much less useful than you'd expect. And the Coach King Giant Trainer, which I do summon often enough to warrant its use. 3 level 8s, which I really wish it was 2. But you can detach a material to draw a card and reveal it, and if it was a monster, your opponent takes 800 damage. And you can use its effect up to 3 times in a turn, but you cannot use your battle phase the turn you use this card's effect. And that is the deck. Like I said, it's kind of drifted back toward the direction it used to be back before I put in the 7th one engine. I hope you guys like the deck profile, and feel free to make any comments about how I can make the deck better. In the meantime, this has been Anashi, signing out.
What's the next stage? What's the next stage?